Hi, my name is Jonathan Lugod, and I drive the Shaftworks USA 2023 Subaru BRZ. Normally I'm driving the BRZ on the track. We got into a little bit of an incident, so it's in the body shop. So right now I got my trusty daily driver Honda Del Sol. Feedback on the dry lap times: around Streets of Willow we were doing a 122.5, and around Bun Willow 13 clockwise we were doing about a 158.9, 159.0. And this is on the 2023 Subaru BRZ, naturally aspirated. Lap time consistency is fairly consistent. I would say the first 4 laps on both tracks were probably around its quickest. They start to taper off within a second after lap 4. They didn't seem to really fall off hard towards lap 7 through 10. So it seems like a tire that you could definitely manage while on the track, keeping a consistent performance. But definitely the first 4 laps are very quick. In terms of braking performance, it's very consistent. I can tell that there's a lot of grip coming into the corner, hitting the brakes. That gives a lot of confidence knowing that I have the brake modulation to continue trail braking towards the apex. Whereas a lot of other tires, they either give up a little too soon and you start heading to ABS, or other tires where the braking performance tends to fade out if you're coming in too hot. The feedback of the steering with the VR2, I'd say is right up there with the other 200 trail tires. It's not quite sharp on initial turn-in, but it's also not dull. It kind of gives a confident feeling where you can lean into the tire quite a bit and still know where the car is going to be pointed, directly with the steering wheel. There are other tires out there that are super sharp, which makes it a little bit nervous feeling. So I feel that the VR2 is very confidence inspiring in terms of the steering feedback response. Corner performance, I'd say the tire has a lot of braking and acceleration grip. I'd say on the lateral side of things, mid-corner, it has a fair amount of grip, probably not as peaky grippy as other potential tires, but I would say on a whole, it's a very well-rounded tire. It's something that you can confidently come into a corner, lean into the tire, know where it's going to go, and that's how you can stay consistent, just knowing the predictability of the tire and where it's going to be pointed. The performance of the VR2 throughout a corner, on entry, a lot of confidence under heavy braking, can trail brake towards the apex. Mid-corner grip is quite grippy. I would say it's not the grippiest of the bunch, but it will give you placement confidence towards exit. And as we're rolling into corner exit, there's a lot of grip on exit, so I'm able to put the power down quite efficiently and accelerate out of the corner. Handling at the limit, it's very communicative. So I know immediately under heavy braking, the tire starts to make some noise. It kind of gives you that audible feedback. As we're coming into the corner, mid-corner, it is pretty talkative. So as I mentioned before, leaning into the corner, you can give it more steering angle and it will kind of eat it up quite a bit, let you know that, hey, this is the limit. And as we're coming off on corner exit, very similar with the audible noise. If you're giving it too much, it'll tell you before it'll start to slip out on you. But in terms of slip angle, the tire is very predictable. It's something that there's quite a bit of a window where mistakes start to happen, and it's a very forgiving tire. Beyond the limit with this tire, I would say it's very easy to recover. Because of the slip window being fairly broad and its way of communicating that the tire is on the limit, if you're able to back off, 1 or 2 tenths off of your aggression, you can easily come back and regain grip and be able to kind of salvage the lap, damage control, if you will. Heat cycle performance, I find that the tire comes alive around the second heat cycle. So on my first track day, maybe the first session is fairly quick, but I noticed that second session goes a much quicker. I don't know if that's just the tire molecules kind of bonding and just responding a lot better, but I noticed that they improve and then they start to taper down. So second, third, and fourth track day, while the times stay relatively the same, the feeling does change quite a bit. Not in a drastic way where it's negative, but it is definitely different. Some might say it might be the difference in the temperature of the day. It's not foreign in terms of how it feels, but it definitely feels different. The bright spot of the VR2, I'd say, is drivability. It's a very easy to manage tire, very easy to drive at the limit. It's a tire that wants to go fast, and you can kind of reliably push the car to the limit to get to that point. And when you go over it, it doesn't want to ruin your track day, so to speak. There's certainly some tires where you go over the limit and there's no coming back within that same session. This is definitely a tire that you can learn with and also be able to grow with as the tire, goes throughout its lifespan. The type of driver that would like the VR2 would be your track rat, a guy that's constantly at the track every weekend. It's a tire that inspires wanting to go fast, and it doesn't punish you when you go over the limit. And so because of that, you can keep pushing the limit and stay on the track and learn to go faster. And I believe that the faster advanced drivers would also like the tire because it's so playful. You can really push the limits, and maybe the lap times may not go faster, but you can definitely have fun doing it. My personal experience with the tire is that it's very predictable. And when I say predictability, I mean, when you come into a corner, you come in hot, it tells you one thing. 3 or 4 laps down the line, as the performance degrades, the predictability stays the same. So you're able to really push the limit and know that, this is where the tire gives up. So this is the window in which we can play with, whether that's you come into a corner and you're understeering because either the tires are hot, it's a hot track day, but you know where you're gonna end up. There's no sense of not knowing where you're gonna end up. There's a lot of feedback coming through the steering wheel, a lot of feedback coming through from the chassis of the car, through the tires that you can feel, that kind of makes the performance of the tire feel consistent. Street driving impressions, since it's a DOT tire, I don't feel like I should worry at all on the street. Although a very grippy tire, its street manners are fairly soft. The ride quality is acceptable for a high performance tire. I don't have much experience with it in the rain because we live in SoCal, so there's not much precipitation going on the roads, but just on track manners, the white noise is very minimal.